Hi there, thanks for joining me on this episode of Tropical Weather Impact. It is Friday, September the 19th here, as we are tracking several areas out in the tropics. Just off the top, there are no immediate threats to the United States. Everything we're tracking right now is way out in the Atlantic. I'm going to talk about Gabrielle. I'm going to talk about this feature the National Hurricane Center is watching, but we're also going to talk about that tropical wave right there. There are two distinct ones that I want to talk about long term, and also Gabrielle. Not worried about it. It's going to stay out to sea, but it does look like it will become our next hurricane and only our second hurricane of the 2025 hurricane season. So let's start with the storm. After, I'll be honest with you, it did not and was not a tropical storm yesterday. They kept the designation. It did finally get showers and thunderstorms near the center, and it's on its way to trying to organize more. Now, it's still struggling a bit. There's some dry air. You can see there's really no showers or thunderstorms on the western side of Gabrielle. It's moving northwest at around 12 miles an hour. Still has more of a westerly movement to it than a north. That will eventually change, though. The official track of this takes it more northwest and north by Sunday and Monday. Now look, Monday we've got a hurricane, and then Tuesday continuing to intensify. I think a major hurricane could certainly be on the table with this, especially as it does make this turn. In this portion here, if it strengthens fast enough, we could have a major hurricane east of Bermuda. The good news, I don't think we have direct landfall in Bermuda, but we will probably have some at least tropical storm conditions and big waves near Bermuda by the Monday into late Monday, Tuesday timeframe as that hurricane grows in nature. And so right now that's going to be an out to sea option with what's going on with Gabrielle. Let's talk about these two tropical waves. Models not really excited. Most models are not excited about these tropical waves in the near term. We're going to watch them though, because what happens here is anytime there's a weak tropical wave or something that's not organizing, it's going to be more prone to get further west. If it's developing out here into a named storm, it's more likely going to curve. That's how the steering currents work this time of year. But these two tropical waves, if they don't organize much, we could see them approaching the Caribbean, which is here, in about a week or so. So towards the middle and end of next week, these waves are trying to approach the Caribbean. Again, models are not really excited with this, but being that it is still hurricane season, the Caribbean has not been terribly hostile. We want to make sure these don't try to come back to life or wake up. And so when you look at our two big global models, the GFS and the European models, these are deterministic model runs, meaning they're not ensemble model runs. And so watch what happens. You can see they've got this area of disturbed weather, tropical waves mixed in here. That's Gabrielle, by the way. That exits the screen here to the north and up towards Bermuda. But watch what happens here as we get into next Tuesday. You still got the signs of very unorganized tropical waves, at least two tropical waves, traveling through the Atlantic basin. So this is next Tuesday. We're just watching them still. They're probably not doing anything. Fast forward even more. Those tropical waves by around Thursday or Friday of next week have entered this portion of the Caribbean. Now, when you look at the GFS and European models at the end of next week, 7 days from now, they do show that leading tropical wave trying to organize into a tropical system. In fact, the GFS American and the European are both showing this. That's got our attention. They also show the inklings of that other tropical wave still unorganized behind it. Now, it's hard to say exactly how this plays out, but what this tells us is that these tropical waves will be traveling west, and it's something we should monitor. Now, just because we're heading into the end of September and early October doesn't mean hurricane season is wrapping up. It's quite the opposite, in fact. We've seen in the years past that this portion of the basin is where we see a lot of our problems develop as we get closer to October. And so that's why this has got our attention here. Hard to say exactly how it plays out again, but it's definitely something we're going to want to watch closely as we do head into the final week of September and into early October. So that's what the deterministic models are showing. What are the ensemble models showing? Remember, an ensemble model is when we take that one model run I just showed you and we tweak it. We change a little something in it. For the European models, it's over 50 times, and we run over 50 different scenarios. For the GFS, we run it in 30 different scenarios. They are not very excited, but there are a couple that show these, at least maybe these two tropical waves, something to watch here as we get into the next 7 to 10 days. That obvious is Gabrielle. Now that's the European ensembles. Nowadays, we have a lot more tools in our toolbox as forecasters, AI guidance being one of those. And Google's DeepMind AI model has been persistent with, wait a minute, maybe you need to watch this. AI models have been interesting to watch all season long. They have handled some situations better than our non-AI models. They've also struggled in some other areas. And so what I think we're going to do right now, since we do have the Google AI model showing a lot of potential for something to wake up in the Caribbean or Gulf in the next 7 to 10 days, we're going to sit back and wait and see if the regular or original models start to catch up to this. We'll also see if the Google AI model starts to back off. Either way, this is going to be a big test for the AI models. It'll be interesting to see here in the next week or so, were they actually right? Did they latch onto this? At this point, I think it's in the realm of possibility this is something to watch, but we don't have a lot of guidance suggesting that that is correct. And so when you look at this as a forecaster, you do still think, okay, this is a bit of an outlier right now, but it's possible, it's feasible, it's not out of the realm of possibility. And you look at the Euro AI ensemble models and you say, well, they aren't showing a whole lot. The GFS is even quieter, which is a big red flag because the GFS is notorious for spinning everything up. And so that's why you're sitting back, you're going, well, let's just sit back and see how this unfolds. But it is a reminder that as we head into the latter part of September and early October, that's the spot we've got to watch closely. I mean, we've historically had some big hurricanes form in this part of the basin in October. I mean, you're talking some Cat 4s and Cat 5s. Now, I'm not saying it's going to happen here, but it's a reminder that it can happen, especially in these seasons where the water temperatures are extremely warm. And so that's what we're going to be watching as we head into the end of next week and the early parts of October. Now, the ingredients ahead of all this, of course, the big problem with the Atlantic Basin so far this season has been dry air and stable air. And so maybe that's why our ensemble models are struggling. There is some dry out there and stable air. One thing that's not going to be an inhibiting factor for anything are the water temperatures. Keep in mind, the Caribbean and the Gulf, for the most part, have been untouched this entire season. We have not had any major storm in the Caribbean. We've not had any big storm in the Gulf here. And so the water is hot. In some areas, it is plenty hot for a significant storm. You've got widespread mid to upper 80s across the entire Gulf Basin. You've got a mid to upper 80s across the entire basin there of the Caribbean. And so water temperatures are not going to be a huge factor here over the next, well, for the next couple of weeks and even into October, of course. And so that's why we'll have to keep a really close eye on this as we go through the next 7 to those 10 days. Now, the Hurricane Center, they're not highlighting any potential in these areas yet because it's really just beyond their 7-day forecast outlooks. We'll be watching the dry air and the wind shear to see how that unfolds over the next week. You can see these two tropical waves as we go through the weekend. You can see these tropical waves. This is, let me fast back up here. You can see as we go through this Friday into the weekend, you've got your two distinct tropical waves. This is the one following behind, just coming off the continent of Africa. This is the one that is trailing ahead of those two, the other tropical wave, and that models seem to be sniffing out. It's hard to say again for sure, does it survive the dry air? Does it get pulled up to the north? Either way, it's going to be the area to monitor well into next week. Next name on the list, by the way, is Umberto, and that comes after Gabrielle. That's going to do it for your tropical weather impact on this Friday, September the 19th. Overall, things still very quiet out there, at least with regard to the United States. Gabrielle looks like it's out to sea. Bermuda's watching it. We'll be keeping an eye on these to see how those AI models end up doing at the end of the day. It'll be interesting to watch from a forecasting standpoint. I hope everyone has a great weekend. We'll see you right back here on Monday with the latest on your tropical weather impact. Thanks for joining me.